So do you feel like women nowadays don't know how to play their part?
Like, I have the shortest damn fuse right now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this storyline is too repetitive.
Yeah. But I feel like men a lot of times try to pull our cards too often. So now we got to puff our chest out because it's like, all right, well, we can do that.
With beta males, or they be calling them on TikTok like golden retriever boyfriends and stuff, they are very nice. And it's not to say men can't be
almost
nice.
like, bitch, you be a fool to do the shit at this age that you was doing back at 24 or 25.
If I feel like if more men were a little bit more secure in like themselves and not so worried about how a woman's gonna show up for them and just be a man and be that big dog like they say they are, then we probably wouldn't have as many issues as we do right now.
I feel like sometimes the reason why women don't let men lead is for a few reasons. Trust, they're used to it, or he's not gonna get it done the way I'm gonna get it done.
Family dynamics. When we talk about femininity and masculinity, we cannot ignore the fact that most of us grew up in single parent households.
Like when I go to my man's, like, I want you to like make the decisions. I want you to say like, oh, this is what we're gonna eat. Like, cause I'm like, I don't know. Like, tell me what we about to do.
Especially when it comes to the communication or having some type of structure or any intent in the relationship. It's like, okay, well, I love it here, but like, I'm not really able to. They can't still be who they were. They feel like they're gonna need to change even if it's for the better.
Hey, Nigel, did too hard, bruh.
Shout out Nigel, shout out everybody here, shout out Unspoken. We in the A.
Today we're talking about femininity. Okay. So the first question is femininity lost?
I feel like that is kind of hard to be feminine these days because these guys make it so hard.
I would want to say, depending on who's asking. Me. Right. I think a lot of men will probably say that femininity is lost in this day and age or in this time, just due to the simple fact that a lot of women, I don't think, are voluntarily wanting to be masculine, but they're shifting into more of, they're tapping more into their masculinity. Each party or each gender has femininity and masculinity, but women are kind of unlocking more of the masculine because they're forced to do so.
I don't think that femininity is lost. I feel like the basis of femininity and masculinity will always be the same, but I feel like what it shows up as or what a feminine woman looks like is of course different from what it used to look like. It's 2023, so femininity is not going to look the same now as what it did 20 years ago.
I agree with that.
It's really, there are different ways to be feminine, and so I don't feel like anybody should kind of put restraints on that, as well as, especially being Black women, we deal with hypermasculinity and different things like that, so being feminine looks different for us. But I think there's still ways to be feminine. Me and my friends always talk about the difference between kind of like a Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls feminine and like a Blossom or a Buttercup. They are all feminine, but one is a little bit more dainty, or like a what's that girl name? A Cassie from Euphoria versus a Maddie. Both feminine, but both like a light energy versus a dark energy.
I definitely think that it's evolving. I think it's changing. I think women are in different positions right now. They're in different positions of power. But I do think that there is a little bit of an off balance right now. And I don't think it's a bad thing, because you're right, femininity, it looks different in every woman, but I do think like when it comes to like being in relationships with men, I think that dynamic is off balance, and I think that's what I'm referring to. Okay. I feel like if you can be a boss, you can be a business owner, you can be whatever, you can even be doing your own thing, but you also need to know how to put that down. And we always talk about this, like know how to put it away, you know, whatever. But it's like genuinely knowing how to like just be soft, like let your man handle it, let your man take the lead. You don't always have to have your input. You don't, just not to play your part as just the woman.
A little bit, not a lot of it, but a little bit. But when a woman finds the right man, the femininity is like reversed. And then we back unlocking our better selves and we live in a soft girl era like Summer was.
Femininity comes in so many different moving parts. It comes in so many different moving parts. And what I mean by that is, it depends on who you ask. Like, I consider myself a feminine woman. But feminine may look different to you. And I'll say for me, feminine may come as I used to be strong in certain situations. I've learned how to take the back seat on certain things, if that makes sense. So I feel like sometimes taking the back seat can make you a little bit more feminine instead of being raw and, you know, that makes sense a little bit. So I would say yes, and then I'll say no to some people that's still in the strong position. You ever hear people on that meme say, Lord, take me off the strong list this year. Please take me off the strong list. So sometimes when people got to be strong, that makes them kind of like tough. And it's not that they really want to be tough. Exactly. It's not that they want to be. They have to be for that moment, whatever that situation is.
The question is, what's femininity to you?
I'm more of like a dark energy feminine. I tap more into the soft side when somebody brings
But like,
that
what
out of
does
me.
that look like? Like, give me an example of like what a dark femininity looks like to you.
Brat. So for me, it looks like, okay, you might tell me what to do. I'm not doing it right off the bat. It's going to be a little bit of pushback, or I got to see why I should do it before I do it. I'm not just going to fall in line with anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
What is that reversal?
I think the reversal process looks really, I don't know. I feel like you can just look at a woman and just be like, you safe, huh?
Yeah, you put up.
Yeah, like she don't have to say nothing. It's just almost like the way she kind of carries herself, the way she may walk into a room. When she feels safe, it just exudes off her. So I feel like people can look at her. She only even got to say, I'm kept. Once she walk into a room, like, oh yeah, you good. I see you happy. Yeah, you unlocking your femininity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I feel like, I don't know if it's necessarily changed or lost. I think that maybe the definition is a little bit different. Because back in the day, you really saw femininity as, you know, taking care of the house, kind of being behind your man. But that also involved a man leading, a man being the breadwinner, a man making the money, a man paying all of the bills, and the wife just simply taking care of home and being more soft and not doing those more masculine things. In today's world now, women are the breadwinners. We're making money. We're building businesses. We're, you know, changing the game. And so I feel like it's just a change of what that looks like. But to your point, when you have somebody that is that masculine energy and allows you to exude more of that feminine energy, you can tell you'll soften up. I don't feel like I have to make decisions
or to be on the defense.
Yeah,
kind of like
exactly. Or like I can trust you to make decisions. Like I can really sit here and look good. And if you need me,
he said that. Yeah, I'm
gonna stick beside him.
So do you feel like women nowadays don't know how to play their parts? Like, is that the off balance?
Yes, but I don't really think that it's 100% the woman's fault, because I think that men have this thing now where like they 50-50. Oh, it's the 2023. What you bring to the table, and you know, it's like. But I feel like men a lot of times try to pull our cards too often. So now we got to puff our chest out because it's like, all right, well, we can do that. If I feel like if more men were a little bit more secure in like themselves and not so worried about how a woman's going to show up for them and just be a man and be that big dog like they say they are, then we probably wouldn't have as many issues as we do right now. So I don't know.
That's true. And I feel like a big part of it is like family dynamics. When we talk about femininity and masculinity, we cannot ignore the fact that most of us grew up in single parent households. So if you have never seen your mom in like a healthy, nurtured, you know, she's super feminine relationship, or your grandparents, some people do not have any married women in their family at all. And it's not uncommon for Black people. So it's like, what do you expect? I feel like we kind of be having to we need a little more grace when it comes to each other, because it's like most of us have similar family dynamics. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of times when we talk about femininity and masculinity, it's like an argument, debate kind of thing. But it's like most of us came from single parent households. So you should kind of understand a little bit where I'm coming from.
Yes and no, simply because it's based on the circumstance, your situation, your upbringing, whatever place you are in that moment in life.
That's right.
You can catch somebody in a bad moment. That doesn't mean that they're not feminine, but they just had to step into that dominant role.
Right.
I do feel like, I feel as though our upbringing on both sides for men and women have altered that a little bit. Don't want to get too deep, but I feel as though a lot, let's go to the single mother households, and then like you might have a single father.
Yeah.
The woman is going to teach her child to be, her female child to be more tough.
Yes.
And the son might get some feminine energy from her, and it's not good or bad, but I don't like using the label feminine and masculine, even though we have to.
I know.
It's okay to have a little bit of both. I do not think it's dead completely. Sometimes I don't consider myself feminine because of my upbringing.
Okay.
A lot of times I have to dig into that tough bag because that's what I'm used to. That's how I was raised. And
But see, that's good that you can recognize that.
A lot of times, even now, a lot of times I'm like, oh wait, hold on, I'm doing it again. Let me scale it back. That's not okay. So when you said earlier, you don't have to, like, you consider yourself feminine.
Yeah.
And how we spoke about it being situational.
Right, situational.
And sometimes you have to take it to the back burner.
Yeah.
Today in present day, I teach myself, because I'm very vocal, I have a big personality. A lot of times I have to say, okay, this is not your fight.
Yeah.
Smile and nod and keep it moving.
Right.
And it's helped me a lot. A lot of times I have to swallow really hard and say, did not want to do that.
Exactly.
But I think that's the growth part.
I was gonna, but that's the good part. I mean, that's where the growth comes in.
If I'm with like a man that I trust and it's like, okay, it's like if you tell me to do something, I may be like, but then like you said, like you said it, if you say it the second time, then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna follow the line, I'm gonna do it.
It's also how you talk to me. Like I got, it's how you talk to me. I don't, men are not smooth these days, but I like somebody that's a little bit smooth, and there's a way to be stern and assertive and not be a butthole. And I think men have a really hard time finding that line. But sometimes it feels like, oh, okay, like you're being assertive, but I know you really care for me.
Yeah.
And like you're trying to be a leader right now. And I like that. But feminine for me is really more in my appearance. My personality may not seem feminine to some people.
I agree. I think like just in this culture, even with like dating, it's just almost kind of like you got to come with the guns locked and loaded, because you just don't really know which way it's gonna, which way the dice are gonna roll. So you rather come prepared to whatever it is versus not being prepared, and then you're somewhere feeling a whole type of way about something that may have what's transpiring. So I agree. I think that times have changed, and I think what a lot of men, which this comment comes from a lot of men, because they say that femininity is lost. I think it's the idea of what men seeing grandmama and them, maybe mama and them living in. But times have really changed drastically over the last 30 to 40 years to where, like you said, a lot of women are breadwinners coming into the household, maybe by themselves, or maybe just being the person that's running the entire ship.
Exactly.
And it just doesn't look like how it used to years ago.
Because we coming home at the same time and you still want me to be feminine and cook and take care of the house, but sometimes I might work a longer shift than you.
And I think too, like, just partnership within itself, collaborating.
Yeah.
That even allows somebody to unlock their femininity when they don't feel like everything is solely on them to, like people have that narrative of the woman cooks, cleans, and all of that. And some men that you may be with have that mindset, like, we come home at the same time, but I still expect. But you don't want to help. You don't want to tag team.
You can't get the groceries at least so I can cook them.
Yeah.
You can't wash the dishes.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think it's that safety too.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like that energy as well. It's that safety. When you feel safe, you can be soft. You don't feel like you have to be defensive or raise your voice in order to be heard. So I definitely agree.
I agree.
But then to me, then the caveat to that would be like, when do we figure it out? Because like at this point, like we're not in our early 20s. A lot of us are in our 30s, going into our 30s. When are you going to take the initiative to be able to say, okay, how can I be? Because I didn't come from a single, I came from, I guess you could say 2 parents, but it was so toxic and so bad and so violent that really I never saw my mom like in a feminine light like that. Yeah. But I was around my sister who was also very feminine. But I feel like I don't know what it looks like I don't have a reference point, so to speak, but I do know what I feel like it looks like.
Yeah.
I've seen it, in other places, and I feel like I can at least in other women. You know what I mean? So like, when do you figure it out? Like, when is it okay? You're a little
when
old.
you can actually check yourself, right? So when you can check yourself and be like, I spoke on this on a previous episode, and I was just saying not to go too deep into that, but there's certain things I can look at a past relationship and say, all right, I was a little strong in that situation. I can, so now that I'm a little bit more older and mature, I know how to dance a little different now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I dance a little different. And with that, once you recognize it, now it's what's next? Now what do you do about it? So the fact that you got that, that's already feminine right there. The fact that you came up and was like, all right, I got this.
I wouldn't seem feminine to a beta male. But for an alpha male, I am feminine. But a beta male, like, I would run over them, like, I would, like, there we go.
Talk about the difference between the two. Beta male.
So, I feel like a beta male is just, like, he doesn't like his presence to be dulled, like, Like, when an alpha male comes in the room, like, he's here.
Yeah. And you can't push too much into alpha male because some people really take that and run with it. But to me, with beta males, or they be calling them on TikTok like golden retriever boyfriends and stuff, they are very nice. And it's not to say men can't be nice, but they are passive. So like, they would be fine with letting you make certain decisions or do different things. Like, their role is really
but
to
I feel like a beta male is not like, when I think of my husband, I want a man that can lead me. Like, you are the head of the household. Like, you lead our family. I don't even feel like a beta man does that. I think that the woman does that. Like, anytime like a woman marries a beta male, I think that she leads the household.
Yeah, she can, definitely. It depends. But I feel like for a beta man not to be run over, they need a beta woman. Like, they need a beta.
You can't date an alpha woman as a beta man if you want to lead the household.
Some people like it. Well, yeah, if you want to lead the household.
The dynamics of your family can, because I feel like when we aren't that feminine, it's kind of a little bit of toxicity. So I feel like when you're ready to stop being toxic is when you figure it out and really try to get grounded in your femininity or your masculinity. And you like, okay, how do I really want to show up in the world as a woman? How do I really want to show up in the world as a man? What am I going to offer to my partner? Like, how would I be in a healthy relationship? What do I have to bring to the table per se? So I feel like it's when you heal, to me, when you become your most feminine.
How do you lead in femininity?
Yeah, like, what does that look like?
With a man or in general?
By being a bad bitch.
I'm a lady. No, I'm not gonna lie. Most people would probably argue that I'm not as feminine as the definition is, because I do have a little bit more of a powerful energy or personality, if you will. So I guess how I embrace it is more so when I feel safe.
Different men bring out different sides of a woman, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Because have you ever talked to a guy and you like, yeah, I can't come at him that way. Like, I have to be correct when I come at him.
Absolutely, yeah. Because he got that energy.
Yeah.
It's like, he's a man.
He
But
got that
that's
energy.
that's a masculine, secure man
Yeah.
who knows how to be in the room
Yeah.
and how to lead a room and lead a woman.
Yeah.
More important than how to lead a woman. Like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then you got the dudes who got the toxic masculinity who think that that's like,
Who gonna try to one up you or
you
go back
trying
and
to be an
forth?
asshole,
Like,
or
okay.
you trying to like throw your weight around.
Yeah.
And now we not doing that. You know, like, it don't even work.
Yeah.
I don't know. It matters.
Because a grown man is not about to go back and forth with a woman.
No.
Like, it ain't finna be none of that.
No.
I like that part. And as far as like leading in it, I think it's really important to me, like the values of sisterhood and different things, even for women that I don't know very well, or always looking out for women and not thinking the worst of them. Like, sometimes it can be competitive with women, and so not ever looking at it from that lens, not even in a cocky standpoint, but like, we all have our own lanes. There's nothing you can do that can be similar to how I do it.
Exactly. Like, I like to think I'm a girl's girl. Like, even the first time we met, I was like, you look good, girl. Like, you know? So I'm a girl's girl. So it's like, for me personally, it's like, like you said, I'm never gonna be like intimidated by another woman, because it's like, even like the gatekeeping thing, like you know, when people buy outfits, and it's like, we all gonna style it differently. So just tell them where you got it from, because it's like the way you wear it is not gonna be the same way that Sally Sue wear it.
Exactly. She don't live where you live. She don't eat what you eat. Like,
the style is different.
Yeah.
The style is different.
I agree.
It's tough for me because I am trying to transition into being more feminine, as wild as that sounds. In present day growing, I've learned that I don't have to be a certain way. I don't have to be in survival mode. I don't have to be aggressive. I don't have to be assertive. I don't have to take control. I can fall back, like you said. And if it falls, it falls.
That's right.
Go back.
But one thing about falling, you get back up.
If I trust a person and I'm with them, you know, and it's different being single and being in a relationship too. When you're single, I feel like, you know, the femininity is more so in how you act and carry yourself than how you necessarily like handle things, if that makes sense. So it kind of depends, but I embrace it by, you know, at the end of the day, I'm a lady. I respect men, and I'd be ready to have a man, you know, that I trust to say something. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and just be pretty. So I'm working on embracing that, and you know.
Yeah,
I agree.
It matters. It's about what you project and what you like attract to yourself, and being able to recognize like this is not what's gonna be conducive to me being the type of woman that I want to be. But like you said before, you got to know what type of woman you want to be to know what you don't want.
You
know?
do, and you got to be real with yourself. I feel like a lot of times, I hate to say it, but I feel like a lot of women are not. Sometimes we don't be being real with ourselves, like about who we are and what type of women that we are and what we attract and what we look for. So I feel like a lot of self-evaluation goes into it. Like, you really got to be real with yourself about your dating patterns and the situations that you put yourself in general.
I would say how I embrace my femininity is that when I realize certain things within myself. Like, if I know I'm out of pocket about something and when I can check myself, to me, that's embracing.
I've started doing that too.
Yeah, because I feel like when you can check yourself, it could be how you said something, how you deliver something, how you thought about something, whatever it may be. I'm human. And I'm quick to admit that. I've always had like an outgoing person. I love people. I love people from different walks of life. But there are times, I'm human. But I step out, and I would say, if I had to say one thing to embrace it, is when I can correct myself. That's the best way I can explain. So if I know I'm out of pocket about something and I can check myself, to me, that's embracing my femininity. Yeah,
that's beautiful. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'm on my way there, girl.
Okay, girl. It's a little journey. It's a little journey.
It definitely, femininity looks different for single and women that are in relationships. But I think a lot of how I embrace it is by how I carry myself. I'm not really, I am a very strong personality as well. And I don't really back down much. So, but I think it's confidence. I think it's just the aura that comes off of you. I think it's really within you. It ain't something that you can just mess around and pick it off the shelf and get.
Right.
I think it's just by the way that you carry yourself home. And sometimes, like, femininity kind of comes with age too and experience.
True.
You know, like, you have to kind of get some experience up under your belt to realize, okay, like, that hard up, that hard up little, attitudinal type of, that ain't you.
Right. Right.
Not everybody out to get you. You may have had some guys that, was out to get you, but not every man that you meet is looking for something from you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do think as time goes on and with experiences, you develop a sense of femininity. And I feel like once I kind of hit past like 25, I unlock that level. Like, oh, okay, girl, you might have it.
Because people use that term so loosely now.
Yeah.
We're using the word narcissist and femininity and it's being loosely. It's a trendy word, but it's not sometimes even being used correctly. Right. That's all.
When I'm with my significant other, it's like people in control. When they get behind closed doors, the last thing they want to do is be in control. Exactly. I want to be a passenger princess. I want to like be waited on and different stuff like that. Like when I go out there in the world, I'm a boss, but I'm still feminine because I feel like we do things with so much more care and intent than men. So I feel like there's always a way to be like a feminine boss. But like when I get home or when I'm with my friends, I want to be very like dainty or cuddly and things of that nature.
I agree. Like I want my man to be like catering to me. I don't want, because like you said, like when we're in the outside world, like a lot of people be like, the women, Black women are the most disrespected, and I honestly agree with that. We are. Like even like I work in accounting, so like me working in accounting, I deal with a lot of older white men. So I have to like be very like headstrong. I have to be very assertive. Like I can't be like feminine at all, like dealing with them, because they're just not gonna respect like the things I have to say. So like when I go to my man's, like I want you to like make the decisions. I want you to say like, oh, this is what we're gonna eat. Like, cause I'm like, I don't know. Like, tell me what we about to do.
I've been making decisions all day. I don't want to make another decision.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to be hard. I want to be soft. I want to come to you and be like, oh, you want me to make dinner? Like, you know, like I want to cook. I want to be like, you know, like I just want to be a woman's woman.
I do feel like it's a man's responsibility to allow a woman to walk in her femininity. And I feel like that's what I'm learning, like about, like I'm going to be 30 soon, and like when I'm dating now, I'm very big on how you make me feel. How do you make me feel? How do you make me show up? Are you bringing that out of me? Am I yelling at you? Do I feel anxious? Do I feel angry? You know, when we're arguing, how are you speaking to me? Like, you know, I don't want to argue. I tell them straight up, I don't argue. I'm not going to argue. I'm not even going to go there with you.
I'm not going to be going back.
I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? That's just not in me. So it's like, but you're making me get there. So now I don't know if I can rock with you. And that's really, and I'm so serious about that. And I feel like, like when you're in a partnership, you don't talk to your girl like a certain way. You don't talk to your man.
I'm not your homeboy.
Exactly. And I'm not going to talk to my man no type of way. You know? So I feel like that matters too.
And sometimes it comes from like that ability to kind of feel that softness. Sometimes it comes from your homeboys, not even relationships. Because a lot of times we look at women and it's like, well, why aren't you feminine? Like, you know, why are you loud? Why are you so defensive? Why can't you just chill and listen? But if they've been in survivor mode this whole time because they haven't experienced, you know, being able to be soft and to be trusting and to be open, then they're not going to really be able to embrace it. So I like what you said when you were like, sometimes it takes experiencing having a male in your life, whether it be your father, homeboy, or partner, to just say, hey, you know, I got you. Like, you can be a woman.
Okay, and I was literally just about to say that, like, embracing your emotions. You know, like, the more that you tap into the feeling, you know, a lot of times I think as women, we don't want to get too caught up in what we're feeling, because maybe the moment that we really hone into it, it may put us down a rabbit hole that we don't want to go down. But I think allowing that space for yourself and be like, giving yourself grace, like, okay, girl, like, your feelings was hurt.
Okay.
Unlock it. Let's see what it is. Explore it. And if you feel better, then go to the next.
Do you think that certain people can take you out of that, your feminine energy? Or do you allow that to happen?
That's a good question. I don't get taken out a lot, but as humans, do people try you? Every blue moon, I mean, it's happened. It's happened. I think, but you know what? Not so much people. I think situations can. Not like so much an individual. I think we all got a little something in us that can turn into something.
I don't like her. I don't like that part of me.
There's always a little monster in everybody. No, I'm just like, not a monster. But no, I'm just saying, like, no, that was a very good question, though. I think we're human, and we all step out of character sometime, and then it's just up to us to scale it back. Like, for an example, you know, if you're in a relationship, and you know how you ever hear people say, well, let the man lead, and stuff like that. You know, and that's true. But there's times that women do have to lead. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, and if people say 50-50 in a relationship, there ain't no 50-50.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And I think to add on to that, like, I embrace my femininity by being in touch with myself, like getting in touch with things that I like to do, hobbies, my emotions. I feel like emotions is a big part of it, because I think that a lot of the reasons that why guys say that women are not feminine now is because we be having to turn off our feelings. But I feel like getting back in touch with your femininity is turning your feelings back on, being real about your emotions, how you feel about stuff, how certain situations make you feel, being loud about your boundaries, putting your foot down. I feel like those are all ways to embrace your femininity.
I think when I was younger, I used to hate for people to say like, not really I be in my feelings, but like, you really emotional, like you be doing, and I kind of took offense to that because I be like, you know, yeah, I might cry, yes, my feelings may hurt, and I may say that,
right?
But I think that's just me acknowledging that my feelings are hurt, and I'm able to go, you know, I want to be able to dive into that. So I think like, you know, as I'm getting older, I'll be the first to be like, I be crying now.
Yeah.
But as I'm crying, I'm wiping off whatever the dirt is at.
Right.
And I'm putting on whatever I need to put back on, and I'm going on about my business. But you know, you can cry in the car and wipe your tears and go back into the wherever your work of place is or whatever, and get it situated. So I think just embracing those emotions as they come kind of unlocks more of your feminine side as well.
And that it comes with emotional maturity, and I feel like on both sides.
Let's just say, if I was to ever get married again, I would not do the 50-50 thing again. I would do, if we sat down together at dinner and I'm like, how was your day? And I'm like, what number are you working on? He's like, I'm only working on 40 today. All right, then you know what? I got the 60 for you. You gotta have to have the 60. So I would do some things a little different. So again, that goes back to being in your femininity. But it comes back into that.
Like, I feel like going to therapy was like the best thing I think I've ever done in my entire life. Like, I feel like I understand my emotions so much better. I can communicate them way more clear. You know, like I feel more confident because of that. Like, I know how to communicate more effectively, and I can have a tough conversation, but not place blame and shift blame. I know how to hold myself accountable, and like all of that stuff matters. You're right, and like in being at peace with yourself, like you can be at peace with other people.
But so, do you think that people felt like you were overly emotional because you communicated your feelings, or was it because you really were like overreacting about everything?
No, I communicate my feelings.
Okay,
so I'd be the one to be
I feel like people have to be mature enough to be able to take when you're communicating.
And looking back at those situations, I can now say like, okay, they probably weren't mature enough to even understand what I was saying. But I'm like, okay, look, I didn't like X. I got the list. I didn't like X, Y, and Z.
Right.
X, Y, and Z made me feel this way. Can we talk about it?
Yeah.
And then they be like, I mean, I don't really want to talk about it. You just being emotional. Okay.
Okay. Wow.
And so it would definitely kind of like suppress, like, okay, well, I don't want to talk about it no more.
Now you felt like you couldn't say anything.
And I compared that to every person that I may have been potentially pursuing at the time. Like, okay, they put me in a box.
Yeah.
And they took me, like, the moment I say I feel away, now I'm being emotional. What the fuck it is?
But I
ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah, and I don't care what the relationship is, if it's platonic or romantic. If I can't communicate how something makes me feel, that's not a good feeling.
I agree.
That's not a good space to be into at all. Yeah.
When did you start therapy? I'm supposed to start soon, but I
started 2020. I started during the pandemic.
Okay.
And it was dope.
That's good.
And therapy, I learned that a lot of the triggers that I had, of course, everyone says it stems from their childhood, but to go deeper than that is like, there's certain things in my childhood, right, that I obviously never resolved. And so, like, as an adult, there may be situations that may trigger that. Like, okay, like, I don't know, let's talk about, like, abandonment issues, for instance. Like, maybe I lost a friend, or, like, my sister, like, I feel like I haven't been around my sister for a while or something. I'm feeling jealous, or I'm feeling anxious about it. It's like, no, that was when your mom left, when you were a kid. Like, that's not the same situation. Just because you ain't see your sister in a couple weeks doesn't mean that, oh, the love is lost, or the relationship is, you're losing the relationship. But sometimes I go to that place because I feel like I'm losing that relationship with my mom, and I didn't realize, like, oh, that is what
You've
that
never
is.
recognized that by yourself.
Yeah, by
so
myself.
A therapist helped you to see that.
So when I would lash out, like, I'll have like a reactive moment, like, oh, I haven't seen you. Oh, like, you're hanging out with someone. Why are you not with me?
Those be like, hard friends. Those be like, it's hard to be friends with people like that.
It is hard to be friends with, yes. And I had to realize that it was hard to be around me, like, when I would have those moments. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm just expressing myself, and I'm da-da-da. And it's like, babe, relax.
People have lives. You gotta allow people to grow.
Exactly.
Allow people to do
But them abandonment issues will trick. It's like a. It used to trigger me. So I would react so quick that I didn't even realize like how it came off. Because to me,
you're tripping. Like you're doing me dirty, but it's like
but
no,
really,
your mama did you dirty.
Yeah, babe, that's not the
your
same
mama
thing,
did you dirty.
and you need to calm down.
Yeah.
So, being the first good girl that a guy has ever encountered. Talk about it.
Do we mean like goody two shoes?
No,
or
not
like
goody
a
two shoes.
good person,
just a good
partner.
Yes.
Okay.
Like someone that is
being their first
of
good
substance.
Girl. Ooh.
Good girl can sound so entitled,
right?
Good girl can sound subjective.
It
you know, you
it
can
is
be
subjective.
Yeah. You could think very highly of your damn self. Like, bitch, I'm really that real. But I think a lot of times in men's reactions towards you, in their actions in towards you, like how you respond to things, kind of lets you know what they used to and what they're not. And I've come into contact with a lot of young men that I've talked to in my past and probably in the present. Husband, please come and find me, Jesus. Anyway, communicating is something that's very hard for men to do. You know, and I think it may be hard for people that just don't have the emotional intelligence to understand what it is that they're actually feeling at the time.
Exactly.
I'm a type of girl, like, if something happens right then and there, I may be very impulsive to want to talk about it right then. Like, can we go ahead and get it out of the way?
Yeah,
and
so we can move on after that.
Some people aren't like that.
Yeah.
And as time has went on, I've had to realize, like, you do need to allow people to have their space. But I do feel like being the first good girl that a guy receives, it's a hell of a fucking task.
It is.
You carry a cape that's hard. And a lot of times, us good girls, because I'm gonna go real, us good girls see the potential in a man that he don't even see in himself yet, or hadn't even really unlocked just yet. And we see it, we know, so we pushing it because we know what they have
what they're capable of
what they're capable of doing, right? And it's just for them to really unlock the full capability or whatnot. But I think with that, it gets really hard, and a lot of times women end up getting the good girls get their feelings hurt.
Yeah, and that's how the good girls end up turning bad.
Yeah.
You know?
But I don't even want to say the good girls really be bad, because I feel like
they just tolerate. They just end up tolerating less.
Experience.
Well, girl, do we got how long do we got?
How long do we take? Right, exactly. Okay, who should start? You can go first.
Mine is really quick. I'm everyone's first good girl. Everyone loves me.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go, girls.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna let you go first, but that's really my answer.
I've had some guys in my past tell me, again, this goes back to my character. Again, I'm not acting like I'm perfect, but I've always been an outgoing person. I've always loved people. So when I've met certain guys from maybe let's just say certain paths of life, I was probably considered their good girl. Like, oh, you're so good. And I think good girl to them might mean a few things. Like, I don't drink. I don't really smoke. I don't smoke or really drink. I'll have a little drink for social. But that may be good to them. Whereas their last girlfriend was probably, puff pass with them, or
taking it
back with them, So that might be good to them. But then I've met the guy where it's like, oh, right, she got her stuff together. That's good to them. So it could be, it could be. So everybody's good girl is going to look a little different. So yes, I believe in my path, I was someone's good girl a couple times, and I feel like that was a good experience for me because it built some experience with us, and I got to learn them. And I've had guys tell me, you helped change me, like different insights. So yeah, I think I've been a little part of that. A little part of change.
I was gonna say that.
A little part of change.
You're happy that you added to them in a good way to change them positively.
Absolutely, yeah, and absolutely. I'm not saying that they've never seen nothing like me before. Right. I mean, I'm not Beyonce, but I'm just saying.
Somebody Beyonce.
Okay, but to somebody else, it was like you helped change my life, or you changed my perspective. And I've also learned from different situations. I've never been in a zillion relationships, but the ones I've encountered, they've all helped me grow too and helped me evolve. So I took something, even if it didn't work out, I still took something from it and I applied it where it was.
Like
where
I have the shortest damn fuse right now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this storyline is too repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's just almost like, bitch, you be a fool to do the shit at this age that you was doing back at 24 or 25. You get what I'm saying? So it just gets tricky. I think being a good girl to a guy that isn't necessarily such a bad guy, but he just ain't there.
Yeah, and when you're that first good girl.
Yeah.
Because, I just feel like, well, maybe not the first good girl, but I just feel like every time I deal with a man, I'm probably the best he's ever had. Yeah. That's just how I feel. It's always an upgrade with me. So I always find myself.
You told them they go to Whole Foods, not Kroger.
Okay.
Get with the Whole Foods.
Okay. All organic.
All organic. Period.
No, but for real, like being that first experience for a man, like you said, you can tell off rip. And they don't know how to take it. And a lot of times, especially when it comes to the communication or having some type of structure or an intent in the relationship, it's like, okay, well, I love it here, but like, I'm not really able to, they can't still be who they were. They feel like they're going to need to change even if it's for the better. And so
it's fair to do that.
Sometimes there's a little bit of resistance.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like you end up feeling like, you know what, I went through this process, right? And I just made you better for the next person that you're going to be in. Like, that's how I feel. I just made you better.
Because what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, but you also have to take, like, I have to take accountability, right?
Yeah, because you
when
indulge
I know that I'm like the first good girl, or, I like to say the best he's ever had. Sometimes like you got potential. I can't do nothing with that potential. I want you to, but I can't. So I chose to be in that situation and kind of go through it. You know what I'm saying? So now we're here, and it's like for me, I take credit because they never really leave you, even when they move on. They don't. They're there to let you know that you were the first real experience that they had. So
that's true.
That's why I can confidently say what I'm saying. Like I didn't just say this.
You ain't just make that up.
You know what I'm saying? The reviews speak for themselves.
The artifacts are there if we need to go through the the Yelp reviews are there.
The Yelp reviews are 10 out of 10.
Period. I agree though. Like
overall
experience.
The mouth and the listening.
Hey,
it might be an 8 out of 10, but overall. Hey. Let's be clear.
So I would say, I've been part of the change.
I agree with everything you said. I've had those all my relationships have been amazing. Thank you, God.
Thank God, right.
I don't know what made me go this way with it, but guess just to play the other side.
Yeah.
Have you or do you know anyone who's ever been the good girl to a person who's like hurt or damaged or going through something? Do you feel like you have to continue to put up a fight? Because I'm a good person. I'm not that last person. Like, how does that affect? Have you ever been that person? Or how would that affect the person who is, I'm like your first solid, honest, truthful, genuine person, but everyone before me was terrible?
Wow. I don't know if I've been on that side, but we've all somewhat played the fool a little bit. I think, but then again, you know what? I don't know. We might have been on that side and didn't even know we were on that side. We didn't even know we were on that side. You know how many times we done played some fools and we didn't even know?
No.
Oh, absolutely. That's the bottom line, and you didn't know. But I can't tell you what has happened by me being genuine and nice. I think I've gotten some of my kindness taken for a weakness.
Oh,
and then I was like, oh, let me back up from this. Not at all. No, I'm not. No, I'm not that girl. No, we're not going.
That's feminine energy.
Being able
to step back.
I
know we're not talking about that no more, but
no, I mean, every action don't need a response, and that's one of them. I'm like, oh no, you're not taking advantage of me.
It really do get tricky, and I think it goes both ways. Women catching good guys for the first time. I think it's just a sense of the unknown, and us as people don't like change, and you have to really want it for yourself. And you can realize, like, and a lot of them do. A lot of men know, like, this is a solid ass female.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good one. But it's like, let me see if I can test this bitch so I can't test her no more. Well, let me poke all these buttons on her and see which one does what. Just so this switch do that. Got
you know what else it is?
Like, for real.
They catch them a good one and they know they're not ready, but they still don't want to cast that good one out. They know they're not ready, but they don't want nobody else to get
and then sometimes the good girl, i.e. the good girl. Sometimes you be like, damn, like I could see it doing what it need to do.
Yeah.
But you just gotta have the willpower to make it shake how you need to make it shake. And that's what really I think pisses me off the most is because women, we can't make the move.
No.
I can't ask you to be my nigga. How that look?
Yeah. Who does that?
I wouldn't get on one goddamn knee and ask you to do shit to be with me. So like it just does not work like how we want it to. Where if you that solid of a woman, it's just not gonna work for you like that. So you have to move on the core of a man. In the moment that you try to make that push, then you're forcing it, or you're pushing it, and they're not, it just.
So okay, so once you realize
DJ Spin,
once you realize you are that good girl, where you have this like a personal reputation, I guess you would say. How do you set those boundaries, like moving forward?
With the next guy or with that same person?
With the next guy.
Yeah. I feel like too many men want a feminine woman and they don't provide a safe space or a space period for her to be feminine. Yeah. You don't know how to make no decisions. You're not on your Zoom. You don't got no motion.
You don't know how to make no decisions. Is the biggest. I hate when I'm dating somebody or talking to somebody and they depend on me for every single thing. It feels so good to be able to call your man up and ask him a question. Help me out.
Okay.
Solve my damn problems.
For real.
If I gotta solve everything for you, I'm gonna feel like your mother.
Nah, literally.
I'm the man.
Quite literally, no. Quite literally.
I wear the pants.
Okay.
Like that's what we were saying earlier. We said that pretty much like your tolerance gets lower and lower. And like your patience. And it's almost like, I be feeling like it gets weird kind of trying to date because my patience now is so low. It be like, I'm not gonna say the smallest thing, but the moment I be like, hold on.
Yeah.
If I think a little too deep into it, a lot of times if I'm thinking too deep into it, it's really a problem for that person. And then I'll be like, it's like now you gotta figure out what's worth really.
Right. What are your deal breakers and what are things that are annoying that you can get
And
over?
it's crazy because over the years your deal breakers kind of change. You know what I
They
mean?
do. They do.
As you get older, you be like, you know what?
That wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah.
Do your deal breakers adjust depending on the person?
I don't know.
Shouldn't.
They shouldn't, but
they shouldn't. But when them red flags be looking like Six Flags, you be like, woo!
or it's yellow oranges. You like,
is that red? Is that a little? Is that pink?
Yeah. It really gets like, bitch, are you blind or are you blind? Like, because we're in Atlanta and the pickings are getting slimmer and slimmer.
Baby, slimmer.
And I mean, it's to the point, like, I think that's also another thing that really, really bothers me because men have more of the choicing with women.
For sure.
There's some quality women out here. They have more of the pickings. We don't. It's probably one, like, if you're looking at a lineup of 5 niggas, maybe 1.5 of them is all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm using that half loosely. Really 1.
Yeah.
But mind you, that 1 has, 12 women to him?
Yeah.
And out of those 12 is maybe 7 or 8 good girls out of there.
Exactly. But those good girls, like to your point, right? As we go through these experiences and we start setting those boundaries and those standards, if we were to really stand on them, because you saw, right?
Yeah.
Are we willing to bend them for a few people? We
Six
do.
Flags looking like Six Flags.
So those men, right? I've got 7 good women to choose from. I'm gonna go ahead and deal with that 1 or 2, because after something, they ain't just dealing with 1.
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna deal with the 1 or 2 that's willing to let me bend, and so they don't have to be better.
Yeah.
So with the more the pickings, it's kind of a little bit harder on us. So we feel like we gotta bend a little more. But if we were to all just stand on those standards,
I agree.
It would force men to be and do better. But
you're right.
I mean, we're human.
We just fuck.
So on the flip side of that, have you ever fumbled a man?
I'll let you go on that one.
I was talking about accountability earlier.
Speaking
of true sister,
I had an ex that he treated me really good, but at the time, I couldn't appreciate him the way I should have appreciated him. And my mom was like, "Oh, like why are you tripping? Like, this is a good man, but it's like, at the time, I haven't lived enough life to realize, like, how good of a guy he was.
I really don't think I ever have, and I'm gonna be so honest. I really don't. Because to say I've ever fumbled a man would mean that I've met a good quality man and I did not put my best foot forward. And I genuinely, anybody in my past, I don't feel like I fumbled.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have no regret.
Yes, I have fumbled one man 2 times.
Okay.
One of the biggest regrets of my life. I think you know who you are.
Oh, I think you know who you are.
I will never do it again. You taught me so much. If you see this episode, but I rarely like a hard fumble 2 times.
Wow,
All right,
that's big of you to admit that. That's big. That is big.
Girl,
bravo. That is big.
And I have like little soft fumbles because, like I said earlier, I've had amazing relationships. I thank God every day. I don't have those horror stories. I just really don't.
Thank God. Yes, neither do I.
And I guess I could say I fumbled them the reason why I'm not with them. Maybe we just didn't see eye to eye or like timing or whatever. But like a hard fumble, him twice. I've had amazing people, man.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
I feel like I have fumbled a man before, but like he came back. Like I got to play back. I got to run it back.
Yeah, spin it block.
I got to run the playback. But to answer the question, like yes, I have. Like if we're saying yes or no, I have.
All right. How they talk about it?
So did the book? Did you hit yourself? What happened in the space game? Tell us.
So like what had happened when I had fumbled is, now I gotta be honest. But I was a lot younger, right? So if this had happened today, or this man had been here today, probably not. But at the time, I was in my 20s, early to mid 20s. And you have this good guy with that structure. Everything we were talking about, we would like to have. Wanted to communicate. Wanted to talk about things.
Mature.
And I wanted to have fun. I wanted to go back to the street.
Ball and parlay.
Okay. I wanted to be with the guy that was like, hey, get ready at 8. We about to go to. And so I felt like I had 2 things that I wish could have been like more together and coexist in one person, but I chose that spontaneity and that fun, and I fumbled, but he skirted, so it was cool. So that's all I'm gonna say.
As look, go on and tuck your.
I was young.
Tuck your.
I was young.
I've had a terrible track record with men, so I think they all were not equally shitty.
And the men I dated in my past are not even men that I would look at now. So that's why I'm like, it wouldn't be a fumble,
I
baby.
agree,
My taste is totally different.
Totally different.
Totally
different. They changed with the seasons. But no, for sure. Yeah, I don't think I fumbled. I think, no. So my thing is, I can't say I fumbled. What I will say is, like, I will end something, and I'm like, dang,
should you have ended it?
So then it makes me feel like, did I fumble? But then it's like, nah, I ended it for a reason, right?
My love language is joning and joking. And when I first met him, I made a joke. It wasn't a bad joke, but like he was skinny and tall. And he asked me to sit on his lap. And I said he was bony. And he thought I was dubbing him. And it's like, no, I was just joking. And he told his homeboy, he's like, yeah, that nigga said you dubbed him. I was like, no, I didn't. So I was like, damn.
But if he's telling you he bony, then that may not be the nigga for you. I mean, if you tell him he bony and that's what scared him off, he's not a nigga for you anyway.
That's true. But I make it my business not to fumble niggas. If I see something in them, I won't even start talking to you. If I think I would fumble,
I really don't
even
feel like that you could technically fumble a nigga, because I feel like the person that's for you is gonna be for you. So like you're like the person God has for you, you're not gonna be able to fumble them, in my opinion.
You already know we've met women from different walks of life that met men who dogged them. I gotta thank God. I mean, I think we all been through a little heartbreak, disappointment in life, but I've never had a man truly dog me, and I thank God for that, for that protection, But I will say is that, have I ever fumbled a man? I don't think so. But I know 2 people that fumbled me.
Ooh. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. We need to re-ask that question another way.
Okay, I'm telling you. I mean, he's funny. I mean, okay. So I'll just say this. Yes, I've never fumbled, but I feel like I've been fumbled at least twice.
That's true. I'm gonna say really like for real, like a really, really good guy once. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the other nigga, I ain't look counted out. But that one, I have fumbled a great guy. Very similar situation. Young, wanted the fun. I was a little drunk off dick. Yeah. You know, surfboard. Yeah, for real. Drinking watermelon. Like I was having a good time, and you know, I just wasn't on that type of time. I was young. Yeah. You know, being very free and wild, and you know, now that person is married. You know, children, living their best life, which is great for them. You know, it didn't end on any bad terms. Yeah. You know, he kind of makes those jokes a little bit here and there, like, you played a nigga for real. You know, it really could have been. Yeah, it could have been you, but you was playing. Which is cool. And I'll take that L willingly. I'll go on the wave the white flag. You got it. But yeah, I have fumbled a guy before. And it's one of them like, ooh. Yeah, like. Like, ooh. God, will I get another chance? Yeah. Is it gonna happen again? But in my grown, after 25 now. Yeah. No, definitely not. After 25, I was like, okay, I'm trying to lock in, trying to lock in the load, something for real.
It's easier to spin the block with a man than it is a woman.
Yeah.
Like, women purposely were like, no, you're not gonna spin the block. Like, you're not gonna get the same me that you got last time.
Yeah, like
you're gonna go get a completely different woman.
Yeah, like even if a woman does like take you back, but she's not gonna be the same type of woman she was before.
But a man, like
he gonna be better, I think.
Yeah, or just in general, like because they're so easy, they're always. Like women, a door can close. Men, the door's always open. Yeah, you gotta really do some. Even with the crazy bitches, the door's open or cracked for men. So
I was gonna say I didn't been a nutcase, and the door stay open.
Yeah, see, it's just easy.
What you do?
We ain't getting all that. We ain't
I don't know anybody I ever dealt with. I could go back to.
Me too.
And they would say, yeah. That's what I'm like.
They not turning me down.
Yeah. The last person fumbled me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Bad.
Bad.
Gotta have like the little, not carpet burn, but the little scrapes on the knees. Got to. Do you fall when you fumble? Do you actually hit the ground?
Yeah. Probably it depends.
Yeah.
Now you can get back up.
Yeah. I literally just said that to her. Said you fall and get right back up.
Is it because you fumbled them and you can't get them back though? Just like, do you feel like you made a mistake and you messed up, you turned the relationship in a way?
Oh, I'm talking about like in football, the actual term. Like when you fumble a ball.
Losing the ball, yeah.
You don't necessarily have to fall. You can fumble and just stand running.
No, this person fell. Okay.
But fumbling is still a negative. You don't want to fumble.
Right.
In football.
No.
In the sport.
Right.
Yeah. Relationship or sport. Both.
You said if you fumble somebody, that doesn't mean you necessarily lost them.
Yeah, because you can always
you lost them for a period of time,
but you can get them back.
Well, that's true. Depending on how bad that fumble was.
I feel like I've stayed in situations too long, so that's how I know I haven't fumbled because I really should have walked away a long time ago.
No,
I'm that person.
No, I'm the same.
So that's why I'm like, that's how I know I ain't fumbled.
Yeah,
my ass should have been walking.
Ain't no way I fumbled.
Yeah,
because I didn't roll it all the way out to the end.
I done played myself at this point.
That's so true. That is so true.
Yeah,
I think every woman has to have that one fumble.
You have to have that one.
Builds character.
It builds character, one, and two. Sometimes it be coming a little bit too early. Yeah. And you don't really know what you want.
Yeah.
And so you have to have certain experiences. Like I tell my little sister, she's 23.
Yeah.
She thinks she in love.
Yeah.
Like, girl.
Yeah.
now is your time to just have a little fun. I'm trying to tell you, but she's gonna have to experience it herself.
And you do. Everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
So. And it's kind of like one of those things. Like I think at that age, as young girls growing up, you have in your mind like, I'm gonna go to college, graduate, find my maybe college sweetheart, high school sweetheart, get married at 23, 24.
Baby, we're gonna have a whole family by 25.
Funny.
Very.
Funny how the tables turn.
Hilarious.
Cause I look back at that and I'm like, you know what? Like, and even in the moment, I think I'm looking like young me. I was like, was I really ready for that?
Were you?
You know, like when it's really presented to you, are you really ready to lock and load in like you need to?
But think about who you were at 23, 24, 25, and who
now
you are now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it was, you know, relationships are cute and cool, but
they are.
As far as like making that next step to do this thing, like, yeah, I really could not see myself being married at like,
no.
Or
I'm glad I wasn't.
Yeah, me too. I'm really glad that I didn't really. I was a lover girl, but I'm glad I didn't lock and load.
Me too. I dodged an engagement at 26.
Wow.
Like 25, 26. And
y'all heard that?
I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I did.
Y'all heard that?
Because I learned so much more about myself after.
Yeah, you know, I think we all been there though to a degree. If we fumbled or gotten fumbled, I think we've. And I might have fumbled somebody I didn't even know.
I was fumbling in slow motion with what I'm talking about. Like, I was like, this is happening. I am still making
happening.
this.
Okay.
Girl,
yes.
get up, girl, get up.
Yes, right. But now, see, now you know your worth now, so you already know. Yeah, you know your worth.
Your femininity. To heal, to acknowledge past relationship trauma, to acknowledge childhood trauma, to acknowledge when you're the problem in your relationships, your situationships, like to really be real with yourself. Every man is not a cheater. Every man is not a dog. That might be your taste. So to really be real with yourself, look yourself in the mirror and be honest. I feel like that's a big part of femininity to me.
That's tea. I think, you know, I don't know, I think it's just funny looking back at yourself. You think in the moment,
I'm so mature for my age. Oh.
And you ain't really even seen the damn crack a light yet.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? Like at 26, I kind of thought that I kind of had a little thing, you know, a little. Like even with this show, I started this show, I think I was 26 or 27. I'm 30. I'll be 31 in November. And there we have an all girl episode where I'm talking about almost this exact same thing. And it's like, I said at 23, 24 or something like that, being married, hell no. Like in that very moment. But pick me out now at that time in 27 and I'm now about to be 31. I'm looking at me like, Ashley, shut the hell up, because what was you doing at 27? Nothing. Yeah. You probably weren't really ready then either. You know, like you think in the moments that you are ready until you actually look back and you realize, like, I can say confidently that I've experienced life in its entities now at this point. Yeah. I think I have a good grasp. I'm sure more shit is gonna come, but you know, I think I have a good grasp on how and what I like, what I don't like. I'm able to confidently say that and not change too much on.
Yeah, you're really just gonna get better, but it's not gonna be so drastic.
Exactly.
You're just gonna evolve
and I mean, and in your 20s, you're doing drastic changes damn near in 2-year spans for real.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like it's like the things are going like, like 25. I ain't like that at 27. Oh, no ma'am. No. Or even 29, I wasn't like what I was at 27. Exactly. So, you know, I fumbling a man. I think everybody need to have a little bit up under their belt.
Yeah. I think that the go-to for like us, like channeling our inner femininity is be around people that brings out the softness in you. Because I think that a lot of times like women get this like hard exterior or like bad rep, like they're masculine or they're this or that because they're dating men that don't bring the softness out of them. They're dating men that makes them want to act crazy or just like be like very independent. But it's like I feel like even friends, like sometimes like it's like just be around people that calm you. Because if you're calm, you're not gonna want to be like masculine. Like if your calmness, you're naturally going to be feminine. Like you naturally want to be like loving and caring and just like very gentle and just like want to be there for the people around you.
Take the titles off, take the hats off, you know, let your man be your man. You know what I'm saying? Like let him lead you, trust him, lean into your situation and just be soft. You know, soft life. We in the soft girl era, like be a soft girl, you know, and it's okay. I feel like, you know, being in tune with your emotions, spending time with yourself. I think like, you know, just spending time with yourself and
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
So you have to trust
intuition.
yourself. Yes. And you have to trust yourself to be able to trust that you're going to pick the right partner.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, like it's okay to be sexy. It's okay to be a boss. It's okay to make all the decisions, have your businesses. But at the end of the day, always remember that, you know, you a girl and you deserve to just relax.
You do.
If you could just always remember, like, you know what, I'm just going to relax. Like, I don't want to make any decisions today.
You deserve
and
to
just
relax.
go. Make no decisions today. Like, when you with your man, just lose all your common sense and let him take the lead all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the common sense. Yeah, you don't even need to look both ways when you cross the street. Just go. Like, your man is there. Hold his hand. And just trust it. There you go. That's your practice, your exercise. Every other week. Okay? I say every week, but if you can't do every week, do every other week.
Period.
So it's just like doing the right thing. Like, it's just like, you know, if you stand firm. And then I think as women, our femininity may lock in like, damn, am I being too hard up on what the hell? Yeah. You know, and then you almost kind of get in your head and be like, bitch, maybe you're being a little too harsh. Yeah. Maybe you might need to kind of just level out a little bit. But like you said, if you stick to those standards, that really is unlocking the real femininity, because it's like, yeah, no.
I'm not going.
Won't.
And
not budging.
And then you won't even allow yourself to get to the point where it really upsets you when you cut it from the beginning in the first place. So.
It's hard being a woman.
Yeah.
For women, again, this goes back to how you grew up. Yeah. And how you grew up sometimes shows up how you are in a relationship, right? So, but I think that step is first recognizing it, because you can't change if you don't recognize it, right? But I think if you recognize it and you're willing to change, and sometimes you got to go through some experiences, of course, to understand what to even see that. Because some women will be like, "No, I'm not strong enough. This is just who I am." No, it is just who you are. But there's change
somewhere in your past.
Somewhere in your past, exactly. So you don't have to be this hard. I think everybody's ran into that woman or man who was just too hard. Women, just all women, like, who's just too hard. So I would say my advice is, I do believe that man should lead in a relationship. I do believe it's okay to be strong. This goes back to, if my husband or boyfriend is having a 30 day, like what you want today, babe? 30. All right, then I got the 70 today. Then that's where you can pick up the pieces and stuff. But I would say I do feel like sometimes as women, we need to learn how to fall back a little bit. It's okay to take the back seat a little bit and just relax and let that person lead. But I feel like sometimes the reason why women don't let men lead is for a few reasons. Trust. They're used to it, or he's not going to get it done the way I'm going to get it done. Or they don't have that reinforcement to make them feel that.
I would say for women to channel their femininity, figure out what works for you, be around different types of women, be around people who you feel yourself around, and whatever that is, and also just like live in that, like you said, with being calm and stuff like that. Just whatever makes you happy, whatever works for you. Also, like that monologue from Barbie about how difficult it is to be a woman and how you have to be this, but not too much of that, and just not focusing on any of that and teeter-tottering, but just being authentic, and that will come.
And also, don't let society tell you how you should be a woman. Be the best woman you can be for yourself.
Right.
Let yourself decide what femininity is. Don't like earlier we said the stereotype of a good girl. Like, don't let like the good girl image, like thinking that's what you have to be to be a wife or do anything, because Aisha Curry is the epitome of a good girl, but they always have something to say about what she does or what she doesn't do or whatever the case may be. So it's just like, if she's the epitome of a good girl and they still have something to say, they're gonna say the same about you regardless. So just be you and don't be concerned with what other people think. The right people that is supposed to be in your life, they're gonna come to you.
And don't be quick to follow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Femininity is vital.
It is.
As a woman. I think as you get older, the femininity is something that kind of just exudes off of you. You don't really have to say much or do much. It's something that walks with you. Yes, femininity looks different now in today's age. But I don't think that it is lost. I don't think it's a negative thing. I think it's great. And I think when you find a partner that's able to unlock that femininity, will allow you to
be in your femininity.
I think it's a great thing. I think when it's, you know, not so one-sided and people are working as a group and a collective team, it flows seamlessly. Being a good girl to being the first good girl to a nigga. I'm sure all of us have been there, so there's nothing new there. You know, I think a lot of us have been good girls to certain guys, subjectively speaking, right? So yeah, if you feel like you a good girl to that nigga, go on, just pack your shit up. Just pack your stuff up and just go. Because you don't want to probably come with the turmoil or the heartbreak that's probably going to come behind that. No. Because you're going to constantly probably try to overprove yourself in the relationship and try to show like, I'm the best thing you ever had.
Exactly.
Rock
if he's not ready.
But if he's not ready, it's just not going to work. And then
for both.
I think that can actually go for both. Okay. But just to answer his question about just women, yes, as women, sometimes we are raised very strong, single parent homes, having kids young. You know, there's women that's very strong in a relationship. Doesn't take away the love that they have for their husband, but they're the push of the relationship, if I can say, you know, if I can think of any better terms. But some women, that can turn men off. Like, let me lead, let me do this. And sometimes guys just put their hands down because they're like, I don't want to fight.
I know this is a conclusion type of thing, but this is just speaking from, I guess, experience and what a viewer might say. How long, or not even how long, when a woman falls back and allows the man to lead and he's still not leading, is that just a conversation piece at that point?
Well, whoa.
Because I was gonna say the exact same thing you said.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have
That's really
femininity stamped to a man or a woman. I feel like we can both have these pieces of us. I agree with you when you say when things aren't going right, you can fall back as women. Sometimes we are a lot of rah-rah. We need to be quiet and sit back. And I feel like at times men need to step up and say, okay, this is my time to step up. Just because I am rah-rah doesn't mean that you need to ball up and not do anything about it. I think not at fault. I don't like using that word, but it's gonna be a forever interchangeable type of teamwork type of situation. It's never gonna be the same. So like you said, 70, 30, 50, 50, 40, 60. So if I'm falling back as a man, you can fall back at times too, but you need to step up too. If I'm falling back and letting you do your thing, do your thing. Because at that time, if I don't feel like you're leading, I'm gonna put the pants back on. And that's not okay. It is not okay.
Yeah, nobody wants,
As far as femininity, I feel like as we were talking, like I started realizing that that's something that you had said, like it's in you, it's an aura, it's how you carry yourself. And once you get comfortable, single or not, but once you get comfortable with yourself and who you are able to walk in that, like, I ain't gotta yell. You know what I'm saying? If I trust you, I'll listen. And also just being with somebody who will align with you and allow you to operate in that femininity.
Absolutely.
Because once you're with somebody who's not, i.e. the good girl, the guy's first good girl, now you're breaking out of character. Now you're in defense. You're not able to operate in your femininity because you're fighting.
Fight or flight.
So I feel like that it is important to be around people who allow you to be in that soft girl era, or to be in that softness, that comfortability, for sure. I mean, you know, fumbling, like you said, it's something that we all do, and I don't take L's, you know, I learn lessons.
I like that.
So it's something that you learn from and you grow from, and the more that you mature, you're able to just kind of take from that. And so also, and just as being a woman, you know, we have to kind of be comfortable with those standards, right? So that femininity doesn't mean that we have to necessarily compromise what we want, you know, and what we require, and so being able to balance that out and having that respect, because times have changed,
a lot.
So you can be a boss and be feminine.
I agree, totally agree. That's that. It's a wrap. Great job, Red. Look at you. Gone, girl, when y'all first session. We did that like a program.
always a little monster in everybody. No, I'm just like.
I just feel like every time I deal with a man, I'm probably the nastiest ever. Yeah. That's just how I feel.
You say the same time, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna follow the line. I'm gonna do it.
It's also how you talk to me. Like it's how you talk to me.
Shout out to my boy Jeter. That's what we drinking on, Jeter Readers. Make sure y'all get y'all some Jeter Readers, man. Hit my boy up. For real.